Hi folks, this is Tom, your frugal prepper. I am making bread this morning and having me a cup of coffee. There is my bread that I made last night. My first time ever making bread from scratch. And if you never cooked bread in your house before, the smell is absolutely amazing. The taste of warm bread fresh out of the oven is quite like nothing you've had before. Um, I cut that off warm, sprinkled a little olive oil and butter on it, and put some coarse sea salt on it. Probably the best thing I've ever had. Nothing like store-bought bread. Now I'm getting ready to make some more. I've got another dough rising back here, and I have two other doughs rising. I'm going to do a square loaf and an oval one, and just different shaped pans and play with it. This is an artisan bread recipe that I got off of another YouTube channel, and I will post a link to that down below. But what I wanted to talk about today was this is just kind of a message to preppers who are in a marriage or a significant relationship where they're with someone on a permanent basis, and what role that their spouses need to play. And this kind of occurred to me the other day. I had a friend over here who's not necessarily a prepper, and we were having a little argument about a certain store that I said, I really don't want to go to that store because it's a girl store, and I've managed to make it through my whole life without going there. So because they had a pressure canner and I ordered one off of Amazon, I'm like, I'm just not going to that store. I'll just order it. And he says, why not? I said, because it's a girl store and I just don't want to go there. They say they sell bed and bath stuff, but I guess pressure cookers must be the beyond part, right? If you know the store I'm talking about. So, anyway, he looked at me and says, well, you're Canon, that's a girl thing. And that's just kind of sexist, I think. Men can do stuff like that too. But you know what? I actually enjoy canning, cooking. I like making recipes. I made my pasta sauce yesterday from fresh tomatoes from the garden. It's just to be one of the best things I've ever eaten. But I've always enjoyed that. But I know that there's a lot of preppers out there that kind of have that mindset of, I'm not going to need to learn how to make bread from scratch. That's going to be the wife's job. And I think it's important. I found myself once in life unexpectedly, well, not completely unexpectedly, but just kind of thrust all of a sudden into being a single parent of a 3-year-old. And I had to learn real quick how to do some of the things that were really typically a woman's job. And I had to cook. I had to work all day. I had to come home. I had to cook dinner, clean house, make sure the homework was done. It's a lot of work. And I just have one child, and I know that there's some single parents out there with multiple children. But I digress. My point is that it's important to learn those skills, because in an SHTF situation, what are you going to do if you're depending on your spouse to know how to make the bread and do the cooking and cook stuff from scratch from the staples, and all of a sudden you find that, God forbid, something happens to them, they die, they get sick, something happens, it's not going to be your responsibility alone to have to cook and provide for your family. And on the other hand, if say you're the one that's typically in charge of fixing stuff, doing maintenance, security, those kinds of things, and your spouse has never been to the gun range or taken any type of tactical training at all, then I think they're going to be in a real bind if something happens to you. There needs to be some level of cross-training. You should learn how to cook some basic staples from scratch from the ingredients that you store. You should learn how to cook from your cornmeal and your rice and your beans and your flour. You should learn how to make some gravies. You should learn how to can and preserve. On the other hand, I think that if it's typically your responsibility to do self-defense, defense and maintenance, then, I think that the women should be taking some tactical classes. They should be learning about guns. They should have a gun that they know how to shoot with and work with and understand. And they should also be learning how to use some basic tools and how to fix some stuff and how to do some measuring and cut some boards. Now, I realize, like in my case, I love to cook. And I've met women, who are construction people, and I've met women who are a better shot than I am. One of them's my wife. So that's not the case for everybody, but I see that a lot in the prepping community, and I think that's a weakness that I kind of have identified among a lot of people, is that they're just, some of them aren't even in a relationship. They're just counting on women to show up because they need stuff, and the women are going to take care of all the cooking and cleaning. And that's even more that's just probably not going to happen, right? But I think it's important for spouses to think about these things and kind of cross-train with each other and teach each other things and learn how to do things that the other one normally does. So that's it. It is just about time for me to get that bread put in the oven and start warming the oven up here. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. And thank you. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper. If you like this video and you'd like to see other videos like this, please like and subscribe.